accomplishing what they did yesterday was absolutely admirable.
Yeah, definitely was. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time, as we are going to be getting into our final day of week 2 here for the PUBG Europe League. It's match 36. We're going to Miramar for all of the action. Thank you very much for tuning in so far to start off the day, and we head over to Sims and D-Man for all the action. Boys, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys, and here we go. Match 36. There's so many matches still to be played, but we're already starting to see the top teams develop a little bit of a gap. Long, long way to go still, Rich. It's a relatively southern plane. It's going to cause a lot of problems for teams that will go north, and we may see some teams adjust. Let's see if Valor Del Mar is going to be a target for anyone. Maybe like, I don't know, Raise Your Edge. They're not going to get to that top spot.
Be interesting to see how TSM decides to deal with this one. They'll know that teams that like to play in the northern edges will potentially be coming through them if the circle does go in their way. We've had some pretty stable circles in Miramar, some weird and wonderful stuff. We had one yesterday, we've had an island circle. It can be rough and it can push teams to the limit and really expand on their rotations and drive the IGL to make the best decisions possible. For TSM again, this certain location, not quite central of the map, but certainly just a little bit up to the north, it proves a really stable ground. They can catch teams rotating off of them, they can catch choke points, and more importantly, they can rotate because they've got a fairly decent amount of ground around them.
Yeah, there's nothing too unusual. Raise Your Edge, they're going to try and long drop as far as they can and make sure they don't get collected by G2. I wonder if they're actually going to go Impala. They've collected a vehicle in Impala. I wonder if they're just going to think, you know what, we could loot here. It's free. We'll see where the circle goes, see whether it will force them to go further north. The Jokers are going up to Alcantara, so then off to La Cabrera. It looks like D-Mash is going to try and long drop as far as he can, and there we go. It's a deep southern circle, so it is going to cause a lot of the teams. Maybe Raise Your Edge will just think, let's stick in Impala.
They could do. Teams that might have a few difficulties are probably the Jokers, Winstrike. I mean, even FaZe might fall under the hammer here. It will be a very tight entrance into the circle, especially with that western side. It depends, I suppose, who goes first. Because if they take an extremely southern swing, then they'll have a very, very easy point of entry. You won't expect those hilly, rocky areas to be clustered with teams so early on. And there's no real reason for them to go to that part. But indeed, the main city, smack bang in the center, Los Leones, that's going to be a very interesting point for teams. And again, because there's so many different buildings and compounds and, you know, even high-rise level buildings, it could potentially, so even though it shouldn't do, it could potentially support up to 4 teams if you imagine it essentially kind of the Yasnaya of this area, of this map.
So I mean, the thing is, it's probably what, 3 times the size of Yasnaya. It's massive in it, Los Leones.
And you've got those building sites which can be an absolute.
It's like 5-story, 6-story. Yeah, there's
you can get up on the cranes, you can walk all the way up, and people can just.
You can be shot from anywhere.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Anywhere. I'm still happy if it's a Los Leones finish.
Yeah,
I mean, center up there, but it does mean. I mean, like you're saying, like the fact is that nobody's going to go around. So you can see the ring. We've got the water ring in there. And generally, most teams will go to the outskirts, if not outside of Los Leones. They don't want to be in Los Leones yet, even though that's the central point. If it swings there, yeah, we might see some adjustments, but we'll see how it goes. It does cause some interesting decisions for the in-game leaders now. This is the way they make their choices while they're doing their loot phase. We're coming up to, well, we're closing in on the 4-minute mark, so expect to see Picado being evacuated shortly. The Team Liquid guys will make their way further south. G2 and Raise Your Edge still very close to one another in around that Impala area, but it is a large area. I think it's Chris and... Is it Kane that's in there? Oh, no, Kane's gone off to El Azhar with Udir. So they've just evacuated. So it's just Chris that's just like, I'm sticking around here. A lot of loot to be had on the coastline.
More importantly, keeping him there. I suppose, it stops him from dying, because if he does go further into town, then Raise Your Edge will have an edge on him and an advancement. But I suppose he can give the information to the rest of G2 and say, look, this is compacted. There's no point in coming inland. If he gets an eye line and line of sight, he'll be able to watch these teams come out of that area and then say, okay, Impala's clear. You can come and rotate through it. You can do whatever you like. It's open, boys. And there's no worry for them and no signs of fighting, so to speak. They'll be able to just easily go through. And if they turn up to the back of it, That could be the problem, is that they hold them there. And if Raise Your Edge are there, they'll keep them at bay, and they'll have to re-rotate. It'll waste them a certain amount of time. I think FaZe, you would maybe have to expect them to go down south,
I was just wondering if they're going to go Valadolmar along that coastal road and inwards. Yeah. The kind of route they have to, they've got to be wary of Red Diamonds. Team Liquid have really not gone too far. They've just come outside of Picardo. They're looking towards the western side, you can see. They do look very clustered with M19, but trust me, there is a big gap there. They're quite far apart. Red Diamond's also coming down the road. They might get collected by Liquid. We'll see. Crate's just an AUG, so that's down on that south road. I don't know whether anyone's going to be deep south enough to actually collect that Crate. I think he's probably going to be left alone, unfortunately.
You know what? FaZe just might take the hillside and use the arrangements of the map and the hillside to be able to... Oh,
they're a team that needs points as well. They are, I think I just worked out, as 97 points behind ENCE right now.
I think they will do the southern swing, but they just have to be very aware that we've seen Winstrike take that really western road several times, so there is a possibility.
We'll see, they are going to head over. You can see they're going south at Commissera. A couple of shots traded between Red Diamonds and Liquid. That's going to be all it is. CrowCrowd are peacocking as much as they can on the northern edge of Los Leones. You can see the tracer fire going across towards Vitality as they drive in and collect their location. ENCE moving closer and closer, along with Na'Vi just moving onto the backside of Los Leones. M19, it's a big spread for them. Look at that across Los Leones. They've got 2 down south, Wander and Enoch, and then Constantine and Elite Player are on the far northern edge. They're trying to play as wide as they can in Los Leones without... I mean, there's no way they'll ever support each other in the position they're in at the moment. And it looks like M19, yeah, okay, they're choosing right. This is too much of a spread. Let's get together.
Depends as well if Recrant's already took some fire towards them, because then they'll know there is a Can 8 in play. And it is one of those, you have to take it into consideration when people have range. If you're hearing an M24 or a Can 98, you say, okay, snipers are in. And they play a prolific factor, especially on this map. Range is everything. I mean, time and time again, we'll jump on players. You usually see the standard setup, which will be an M4. Or an AKM. Some players choose to go for the green. Some people go for the orange. 7.62 versus 5.56. Pick your poison. And then 9 times out of 10, a mini or an SLR if you can get your hands on one. M19 and wait for DA to make the first push.
Yeah, they've tried to come too close to Los Leones there.
I'm surprised they didn't continue with it. Then I'll go for the reload. Oh,
yeah, bit of return. Just going to tuck down. I mean, he's on his own, actually, to be fair.
Liquid have took the western side of Los Leones. They're kind of playing the outskirts, and they do have a fairly split kind of area, which will be able to hold Red Diamonds. FaZe and Red Diamonds are a fight that we keep saying time and time again on this map, and we actually might potentially see it once again. They are coming in from the western side. They didn't go all the way down south, just below Commissera. I think you might see Winstrike just go above it and kind of track that main road that comes in from the northwest area. Maybe scour. It's quite a free amount of area. The next shift will be interesting. If they get a hard shift down south or to the east, it'll be quite brutal, and you might see a few teams even challenging Puerto Paraiso.
We'll see whether it swings that way. G2 are slowly coming down. Anavelas are high. You can see them in the blue, the only team that's up there, and AP pull into a compound. A couple of shots coming towards them, but they're perfectly safe. Just took the vehicles in and make sure nothing gets shot. So, Winstrike, it is going to be... they skirted Montenueva. They were like, okay, did FaZe leave? Did FaZe leave? Yes, they've gone. Joker's D-Match being the scout man for them, and everybody trying to center up as much as they can. And when I say center, I'm talking CrowCrowd's position, where I think it's Ex-Magister that's in there. That's pretty much the center spot, because, you know, obviously forget the water, forget what's down south, unless we see a horrible hard shift. But I'm going to be quite excited if we see a Los Leones donut here.
A donut.
A donut.
Los Leones donut.
A Los Leones donut. Maybe it's something
that build
something they could sell, yeah.
The amount of people who'll be just up high and trying to get a couple. I mean, you'd expect to send one at least up high and keep most of them below for the road. Right, see? You okay, mate? Bye-bye.
That's a roll. That's going to be a long roll.
End up flying down the bottom of that thing. TSM, unfortunately, gets turned on there. I think maybe, if not, it was a close call between them both. Found each other at the same time. Gustav down and dead. He's the lead scout. So you will expect him, unfortunately, to be the first one that dies.
We're limited on compounds to the north side of Los Leones because a lot of teams are already sort of betted betted. That's a horrible word.
It's close.
Bet on the positioning for it. We're already seeing the Knights trying to close in. They're getting close to NIP. Vitality, they're happy in their compound. There we go. MBS has got himself a couple of new noisy neighbours. Kramer and Reels, the Brits coming at ya.
They're actually committing to this. And the thing is, I don't think they realise that all of the Knights are also into that. Reels gets the initial first one. It'll instantly confirm him. Bad goes down, then realises someone else inside that building right behind him. Didn't quite see it, but it doesn't matter. The Knights will flood onto them and say, well, step on our doorstep, unfortunately, we'll boot you right back off.
MBS's nade finds one. Miraku and Gaxi off the distance, but this is starting to become a common fight, right? NIP and the Knights constantly clashing with one another. It's becoming more and more commonplace. FaZe now found Pin. Oh, did that nade catch him? Oh, my word. He must be down to 1 hit point at most. Gets a return nade, catches Uber. A doozy comes round the side, gets Mexi and flushes him from the rock. And now Fuzzface, he has to back away. Pin gets himself healed up. Fuzzface finds his head, but he has to back away. He's going to get pushed from behind. And FaZe, what in the world is going on with FaZe Clan? Fuzzface, the last man standing. Pin dropped down off the top and avoided the flush.
I don't think they expected them to be so split, but the commitment will come through here for Red Diamond. You can see the vehicle's been sent across on the opposing side of the road. Bestalok's got involved in the fight. Fuzzface will confirm. That nade might do a fair amount. Oh, no, didn't realise they actually dropped down from there. And now 3 players homing on Fuzzface. He's got to hold these angles. Where'd the rest of his team compared to him?
They're dead.
Are they all down?
FaZe Clan are all dead.
No, Uber's still up. Why is he kicking around?
He's crawling. He's not up, he's crawling.
Nice to see he's up.
No, he's down. He's down. Yeah, okay. Fuzzface gets a. Oh, the nade pinged off the wall.
It's a wobble.
Nobody saw it. It's all good. It's all good. That molly's just going to splash on the wall. It's not going to do a great deal. He's going to back around the side, and well, he's low on meds as well, as you can see. It's not been a great loot path for them. They've only got 1 first aid. That's going to get used up, so he's down to bandages already. And Phase 2 happening. Red Diamonds, they want a gigantic chunk of FaZe Clan. And we've seen this a lot. I was just talking about Knights and NIP clashing. FaZe and Red Diamonds, this is commonplace, as you mentioned.
I'm glad he didn't go for the res. There was probably an option to do it and grab it, but I'd expect them to be swinging around off the back of that one and maybe now hunting down foes. They'll be able to play the numbers game, see how many's dead, and assess it that he is going to be the last man standing and potentially try and follow it. And I mentioned it in the initial circle was coming through. We could see that they were on the back of the tails and just going ahead of them, but the commitment was there. The initial frags came through. Recrent just takes a bullet to the brain, unfortunately. He has forced to go into hiding. Meanwhile, the rest of Digital Athletics, they're setting up in case they have to cross the road. They can play spoiler at the moment and just peek him and poke him.
He's tapped 6-mo. Oh, and he's caught him in the road, trying to make the cross.
Too overzealous on that one, unfortunately.
Well, Fuzzface is being hunted. Bestalok looking to go down. They want to confirm and flush this kill. You can see the blues on the back, so they're committed to this. They've gone through. Fighting in the blue. Fuzz is going for a peek on towards Hello Sampai. He might have just seen him. Trying to see with the X-ray. It's actually Bestalok, or they're going to double peek the corner. Gets one down. Will he get flushed? No. Gets the kill. Fuzzface. Bestalok is there. How did he not get the reach frag?
Didn't go for it. Didn't commit to it. Fuzzface in his right mind is a strong individual player. They are holding the off angle in case he decides to go out the back, and they know that they have to, he has to essentially come to them.
Well, they're fighting in the blue, and Fuzzface, remember, he's got no first aids left. He's down to bandages right now, so you can see that he gets himself the boost, the energy drink. Yeah, and Red Diamonds are just like, this is probably just not worth it. We're just losing players at this stage. So it is a 2-for-3 engagement between the two. Mutually assured destruction continues as the Jokers move on in. Dimash, how on earth did he not get hit once by Constantine there? He's going to toss the nade and back away.
Won't be getting naught off that as they'll be able to run it through. Set, you can see in the kill feed, does take him out with the SLI. He's not quite dead just yet. M19, Digital Athletics, Navi, all starting to close rather close to one another. You can see them moving to the northern edge here. In fact, that's Team Liquid that's going to be hiding back in one of the garages as well. One of the big warehouse hangars. Jokers might also punch into this if they do want to go further. They're playing edge at the moment, been held back by one member of M19, and then the Red Diamonds. This is a very strong CIS build right now.
Yeah, we've seen the game finish in that exact spot a couple of times. It was actually the game that Navi won, where they came out and swept up the hill, took out Vitality and took control of it. Digital Athletics were in a similar spot, and we can see that's probably why they're trading blows at the moment. Team Liquid sort of gambling on the fact that it's going to come towards Los Leones, because now they've kind of committed to it, really. Because look at that. To get out of that building, it's going to be rough terrain because ENCE hold the hill. So should be able to catch him out easily. We'll see whether the circle continues to shrink this way. Fuzz has managed to get himself in his vehicle, so FaZe still with just the one alive. 16 teams still standing. Jeems gets a bit of batter in there on the Wanderer.
I'll send some bullets back his way. Standing still is never going to be the greatest thing. This could be a beautiful nade. Up, over. One answers back. They're still following him up. FaZe Clan goes down in 16th. It looks like he killed himself. Did he follow his bike?
I think he's compiling in. I think did he...
That's a huge F.
I mean, it was a bike flip, whether maybe the tire had been shot or not, because he went kind of close to M19 there.
Either way, they're out in 16th. That makes the difference which way they die. That's not the greatest of stats for FaZe.
And as we're saying, I mean, that's going to put them 100 points plus behind ENCE by the end of this game, which is a long, long, long way to go with just 24 games remaining after this.
So for Liquid, this is a pretty decent spot. Regardless of where the circle goes, you'd expect them 9 times out of 10 to be in it. It just depends how much utility and how much commitment they have to these fights and who else wants to get involved in them. The Wanderer takes out Samty, so that's not the best of stats. Like, I was so certain they'd be still inside it, but the hard shift is brutal and goes all the way to the north. Even ENCE, who had the power position of this map and pretty much complete guidance, will be forced to move on this next circle. That is insane.
Yeah, TSM are laughing. They were banking on the northern edge play at the moment. The Knights, remember, who also fought for their compound from NIP. They've benefited from this swing. But this is the choke point right there. You can see, obviously, all these teams that committed to Los Leones. Liquid trying to work the way out. ENCE looking for the kills on the hillside. Na'Vi need to move. Digital Athletics, M19, Red Diamonds, the Jokers, G2. All of these teams are committed to Los Leones, and all of these are going to get caught in the grinder as they come up the hill.
ENCE need to take full advantage of this and try and clear as many frags as humanly possible. They need to look... The issue for them is because there's going to be so many fights and so many angles. They don't want to get too overzealous and then picked from a corner. One goes down, someone advances on them. They're in quite a safe position. Even if you do get knocked, no one's going to be able to confirm you because you're all the way up on that king of the mountain, so to speak.
The problem is, as soon as you silhouette, you've got 4 views silhouetting, but you've probably got about 20 looking back at you.
Yeah, I think they'll be more, thankfully for them, concerned about one another. ENCE's real problem might be G2 if they want to try and maybe just annoy them. But at the moment, they should be focused firing on the CIS boys. You've got M19 down there, Red Diamond, you've got Na'Vi, you've got the Turkish team, Digital Athletics. It could be a good, easy 10 points here. But they're also going to be fighting one another and stealing those kills from you. And
that's what I'm seeing with Na'Vi. While they are making a path with a smoke push here, they're also looking at trying to clean up as many kills as they can on the exit. So they know they've got a choke point now. That right choke point is covered. Team Liquid have got the left choke point. So anyone that's left in Los Leones right now is pretty screwed.
Also, for the fact with ENCE, it's not exactly the, you know, where Sai saying, oh, it's easy just to get all these shots, but it's still a decent angle and it's still a decent amount of height. They have maybe
left the door open here.
They forgot about Na'Vi. Na'Vi have got all the way up on their doorstep. I'm intrigued to see how they approach this one. If they go forward, they have to... okay, they've been spotted. You can see Squeaky and Mikas. Nade's come out.
Nade's coming out. Mikas, yeah. See, can he get one up and over onto that ridge? It's always tricky to land it on a slope like that. Cook it, get it as much as you can. M19 and Red Diamonds still stuck in the city throughout the crates, trying to get themselves out there. The Jokers in the distance are just on the edge.
Hit in the back late.
Yeah, who is that hitting them in the behind?
I think that's actually G2. I think G2 have got an angle on them. Really? That
TSM
range?
And Team Liquid. Oh, Team Liquid are coming up the hill behind them.
This is what I mean about getting sandwiched. It's a great position to hold, but you've got to have your head on a swivel. 1, 2, 3, 4 teams. ENCE up top, Liquid moving on the hillside, on the back of them. G2 also. Na'Vi, 4 teams all working the way up this mountain. This is going to be a bloodbath.
This is king of the hill right here. Team Liquid have had to duck down. TSM are the ones here. That's the tracer fire you can see coming in from the lower
TSM,
part of your
right?
screen. TSM for a bump on the hillside. Yeah, they are sitting very pretty right now. They are just taking free shots on everyone and seeing that they can confirm. NIP, Gaxi on his own at the moment. Miruku split away from him, but he's managed to catch a member of the Knights out. There goes Red Diamonds, that's down in the city, and now everybody turns their attention down here. They see meat in the grinder, and they want to just start turning those cogs. The circle, by the way, it pulls away from that hill, so everybody that's engaged, everybody that's in fighting, now needs to look at moving.
Liquid have opted to disengage from this one and completely run it. It depends if G2 have been slightly caught napping. They threw smokes up and they might have had their line of sight denied. So Liquid will probably get away with murder here and hit the back of the oil tankers. ENCE are now in a bad position because they're basically pinned outside of the circle. Liquid are down below. They've moved into a point where they say, okay, well, all these people that were outside shooting at us, we've now denied line of sight from behind us on the TSM side. We can open up on teams like Jokers, ENCE, maybe even potentially G2. However, I think they do have a bit of a hill to hide from.
Frustration for Trifoli there. He can see him. He can see the pack. He's thinking, how is this not landing? Ustamar will get it though, so ENCE will collect themselves that first kill. It's unbelievable at this spot. They've only picked up the one kill. There we go. Constantine down. The Blue's going to eat him alive. Mikaz gets involved. Wanderer drops, and now ENCE will start collecting those. But there's a nade from Na'Vi as they look towards the hill. Squeaky confirmed. He goes down. Mikaz now down as well. And Na'Vi peeking over the brow of that hill, causing ENCE all manner of trouble.
Fantastic work from Na'Vi. They read it well there. ENCE were fixated on M19. They said, okay, well, we'll just keep moving and moving and moving. And they got further and slowly up the hill. They kept quiet and bided their time. But unfortunately, they bit ENCE in the back. They've now lost 2 to 3 people, if I'm not mistaken, just off of that one engagement. And Na'Vi now are going to be taking up ENCE's position, have to clear the hill out, and then face off against either Team Liquid or G2. Pick whichever team you want. It's not going to be hard getting down that mountainside. Yeah,
and you can see on your screen here, Winstrike committed to going into that warehouse as well. So they've moved in, noisy neighbors along with the Knights. That's inside the circle. Here's Na'Vi trying to make that awkward push. G2 to put a couple of damage on him, but look at Trifoli up on high, looking to try and make a flank towards them. But Na'Vi see him. Recrent in the back. He's already just took down Gemty, by the way. Pokemon stole that kill away. Now he's trying to get another. Gets caught, tapped in the blue. He's going to be done. Is he? No, just manages to get himself quickly healed off. Batulin's going to be back on his feet. Recrent goes down. And G2 look to be wiping out the last remnants of ENCE there. Winstrike also engaged. Real's catching 2 with a nade on Winstrike. That was in the warehouse in the distance. It's carnage right now.
Fortunately, the grind never stops because as soon as you come off the back of that hill, you've got 2 more teams that are looking to fight. Team Liquid still by the oil tankers are waiting with open arms. G2 now will go crashing head on into Raise Your Edge. Raise Your Edge have gone for the 2-2 split. They held 2 back, they sent 2 forward, and now they can just do cleanup crew. Look at that, just like that, G2 is gone. Great play there from Raise Your Edge to send 2 over. Yeah. Said, okay, go collect some points, clear out that side, come back to us, and now we can work together to get back in the hill as a 4.
Yeah, very nice play. I like to see that aggression, and 6 kills for Raise Your Edge. They've benefited from that for a long time, yeah.
We've been waiting for it, and hopefully they've gone back to the drawing board and say, okay, where are failings, where are standings? Let's get a bit more overzealous, a bit more aggressive throughout Pro League, because we've only got today and then 1 week left.
So everybody that's gone out now has got 0, a big fat 0 points at that massive grinding battle on the hillside. And who's benefited from it? Well, the Knights you can see in the distance still engaged with just 1 member of Winstrike that's remaining there. Vitality still holding this little ruinous area, and CrowCrowd have been pretty passive throughout that one. TSM, they collected a couple of frags from the hillside. They were watching it play out. Team's being very loud and proud here, considering it's the last man standing. This is just a benefit of the point scoring system now. It's so worth just going for that single point because he knows from the position he's in, probably getting in that center is not going to happen.
He knows that G2 have gone down next to him and there's a team waiting. It's basically like just a shark tank at the moment. You jump out of here and into the circle, and as soon as he does that, he's just going to silhouette up against the side of this wall. He goes down the sandbank, and someone's going to smash him. There's no 2 ways around it, unless he gets really lucky and plays blue and creeps his way in.
Drayden's gone for it. He's gone center. He's tried to send it, so the Knights, they take out Nookie, they take out the problem, and now they've managed to get the center. The question is, will Drayden survive? You can see Nasus in the distance. He's taking shots onto Drayden there, trying to get him down. That's because Jazza has done a similar job. Now look at Pittsburgh Knights. They're going for central position, but the Vitality, they were so busy focusing on those shots, they were just slow and got caught out behind by the Jokers and just seemed to not acknowledge the fact that there was a danger around the corner.
Yeah, it feels like a real misplay. That, I mean, I know we can see it on the observer by looking up and above, but you'd definitely be able to hear the footsteps. Unless they were just
shot at. Kemba took shots already.
So fixated on something else that they're allowed to just peek around the corner and batter two from behind, and that now puts them at a very, very bad disadvantage. They're in a strong position. I say strong position because they had 4 alive, but yeah, now you split with 2 just clinging on for dear life in the middle. I don't think the Jokers will be able to get any further on this one, and it looks like the Knights have got them dead to rights.
Yeah, Drayden and doing work there. Senya and Kemba down, so the Jokers out in 7th position. Look at Raise Your Edge trying to claim control of the southern side of the circle. TSM, they're sweeping around the north now, down to the eastern side. CrowCrowd finally stepping up. Here we go. This is what we're going to see. Nasus gets taken down. They're collecting kills left, right, center. Miraku finishes off, and the Knights will go down at 6th place. The center move did not pay off, it seems, and they were caught from behind by NIP.
Circles a little bit more fixated on the north. TSM will be able to rotate around on the eastern side and maybe get an island on Raise Your Edge and pin them in and hold them back. If they stop a further advancement here from Raise Your Edge, they'll be able to clear out this whole side. Wookie Bookie takes the initial bullets, though, unfortunately. Wanted, K9 comes out, looking for Rory's scalp. Where is it? Let's see if we can get a pick on this, because then, if they're feeling it, Lee, I mean, they've already got a few kills in the bag so far by pushing 7. They'll be able to continue this through and maybe push hard onto TSM, but CrowCrowd, what's going on here? It's all falling apart.
I was just about to say it could play out so well if Raise Your Edge and TSM engage with one another, but they didn't wait for it to happen. They moved too early. You know, we see Jazza go down, that's Vitality in the dip there, but they had to wait for TSM and Raise Your Edge to engage. Instead, Raise Your Edge have turned around and caught CrowCrowd trying to cross the street, and it's just cost them dearly. So Michael picked off by Miraku, by the way. NIP going about their business. They've only had 2 alive for a long period of time. They keep on collecting kills. TSM now down to 2, I believe.
It's not too bad sending Michael on there. Obviously, it's never good to lose a player, but it's better to lose 1 player than all 3, rather than just being sat there, because a certain player like Miracle or Gaxi can quite easily just open up on them with an AR and put them in such a horrible position that your teammates are allowed to push up and then complete the job off.
Nades back and forward. Magister's going to toss one that's going for Wanted. It's going to catch him as well, so he's gone. Cup of Magic trying to toss a couple of his own straight back. He's going to catch Magister with that one. It was gone a little too far, so he's going to get close range. Now look at NIP. They're looking to try and take control. Sets managed to get himself in a position around this car in the middle as Magister has to deal with the remnants of Raise Your Edge. Cup of Magic outside the circle. So, all the teams with 2 standing and then just the 1 solo man of Cup of Magic. Oh, Wookie.
If Cup of Magic can deal with, I suppose if Magister can deal with Cup of Magic, should I say, then it's going to come down to NIP, because they're literally going to be oh my word, what a headshot. Now that gives them a disadvantage. You would have thought he'd be able to get the res if he has the smokes to do so. If not, Miraku's hunting him.
Yeah, he's going for it. The NIP trying to gain control, gain position here. Gaxi, there was a chance for the shot there, wasn't there, from Wookie a moment ago, but it's been a little too late. Now Rory so low, he's going to go for it. Miraku's continuing to hunt for CrowCrowd down low as the nades come on towards Rory. He did get the heal off just in time, but TSM are forced to try and push on this circle, and suddenly NIP, who lost 2 members to the Knights so long ago, are looking to be in the driving seat.
Miracle will push back, and thankfully he walked, because Set had a beautiful nade right next to the hay barrel, and they haven't seen where he's gone. Rory might come up and over this. He gets spotted. SKS does its job. Puts him down, finishes him, nailing the coffin. Wookie Bookie now, because they have the eyeline on here, they might play this one aggressive. He's got no cover. Should they go? Oh, if I'd have got a little bit
It went straight to the smoke. That was such a good nade. I mean, they didn't know he'd backed away from it, but that could have been perfect. This is buying CrowCrowd all the time they need, and Set is deadly with any gun, it seems. Wookie gets Gaxi down. CrowCrowd are moving on the back. CrowCrowd are moving on the back. NIP have gone to try and flush out Wookie here. They will get him down, but they're going to reply on this one. And CrowCrowd come from behind, and Set shoots him in the